What's up? What's up? I'm Clee the Visionary, your beloved podcast host, and this is the Build Your Vision show, the number one show in the world for visionaries who are serious about building a life they are proud of. And you are here because you want to be more than a dreamer. You want to be a world changer. Look, y'all, I'm sharing with you something that was completely off the cuff. I did not plan on having this on the show, but I just had to. I mean, like, the amount of value that was dropped in this episode, I could not have this on the show. I know that was a bad English, but you get what I'm saying. I've been having these candid conversations with a few people because I am building something that I'm very excited about. It's going to be a new community that I want you to be a part of, and I'm going to be talking about it more soon on the show and online. So make sure you follow me at Clee the Visionary on whatever it is, buildyourvision.com. buildyourvision.co and cleavondavis.com. But I'm talking with my good friend, Pace Fordham. He is a minister out in Ohio right now, but he's also a leader in so many other avenues. And if you are a person who is a visionary leader, I mean, you are someone who is trying to build a life that you are proud of. If you are revolutionary and innovative and trying to figure out where your spot is in the world, and you know that you are here to make a difference, I'm telling you, you want to listen to this whole episode. I did not plan on having this on the show. Like, the audio is terrible. I'm not on my microphone. I'm in a bad room. The air conditioner is blowing. Like, it's not the best quality, but I'm telling you, the value's there. So, hey, I'm excited to release this to you guys. Let me know what you think. DM me on IG, or you can leave a review. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. I would greatly appreciate it. And as I always say, I'm going to say it again at the end of the episode. You know that. Look, share this with somebody. Share it because you could be changing their life. All right, guys, we're going to get into this episode. Here we go. You're listening to the Build Your Vision podcast, a podcast series about maneuvering the ups and downs of building a life that you're proud of, captured in real time. A community where dreamers become doers and doers become world changers. Let's go.
In a whole, if you think about everything, it might overwhelm you, but I'm realizing, like, one piece at a time, just keep moving forward. God is fighting these battles for me. Like, everything is just working out, like, easier than I thought it would be. Stuff is just falling into place. So I'm really learning more about how to trust God. My senior pastor, actually said something crazy. He said, God has allowed you to experience a lot of wins in a row. Like, I graduated, got a job, I've been working, got a new car, got an apartment. Like, I've been, like, moving very quickly. And he's like, pay attention to what God is doing right now and use that same energy when there's valleys. So that now, like, I'm kind of like, I'm in a confident mode because it's like, God's got me. Like, I haven't lost. So now when I start to see losses, I need to remind myself of that and just keep moving forward. So now I'm just kind of like taking inventory of all the battles and, like, God's getting me through all these new areas of life.
Yeah. What would you say your where you are in your journey when it comes to building the life that you desire ultimately?
Mm-hmm. Bro, I'm excited. Like, I'm really excited. I'm starting to realize, like, it's starting to become evident that I am in the position that I dreamed of, like, years ago. Like, I've been dreaming about writing a book. Like, now it's actually looking feasible to put out a devotional book. Mm-hmm. I've been dreaming about, putting out music. I don't know if you know about Roar. We did a project. We had a live recording. We rented out a club, did a live recording. I was just talking to the musicians for that, doing overdubs and stuff. Like, it's like this, it's not me, but, like, I'm working on a project.
Yeah.
Little things like even just being an associate pastor, like, I'm doing ministry, all the things like I dreamed of. When my dad used to joke about the fact that I need to get out of Oakwood because all the things I was doing to procrastinate are what I would get paid for outside. So someone like, you out here doing 6 ministries and running 4 online churches, don't get paid for that. Like, why are you doing this and then skipping class to do it? So now it's like I'm able to really function. Like, we've been doing my church, Shiloh. We've done a block party every Friday and Saturday in the month of July. So we're actually ending out this week. But, like, just little things that, like, that's what I would skip class to do at Oakwood. And now, like, I'm functioning in that. I'm really doing it. Like, I was really just like, if I got a couple minutes, I might be able to jump on and make a little devotional video. Like, I'm just doing the stuff I want to do that I would have had to hide back in the day so I don't turn in a paper. So, like, what were you doing? And I'm like, let me not show them that I was doing extra time for Aeolians. I was doing it. I get to do this for fun now. Like I'm really doing the things I love. So that's I don't know what the question was, but yeah.
It doesn't matter. That was the answer. That was oh man. No, yeah, that's awesome, bro. Like
Mm.
I guess that kind of goes to the next question. I mean, you might be in the beginning stages of it now, I don't know, but like what's the ultimate goal for that? Like for the vision that you're building for your life? Like what's the North Star?
Bro, I've always said I want to be like a tree. So like, it talks about, there's so many places in the Bible where it talks about righteous people are like trees. And it's interesting when we think about trees, a tree is something that, no matter how much wind, how much waves, all the stuff that comes, because of their foundation and their strength in that, they remain steady. And in their connection, they actually provide food for other people. They provide provision for other people. They provide shelter for other people. So I want to be able to use my gifts, my platform, my network, the things that God has put in me, the seeds that God has put in me. I'm really big on the parable of the talents. Like I want to take every talent God has given me and invest it to a point where now the people who God has given them talents now, they're saying, how do I invest it? I can be the one to pour into them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna be the one like, okay, oh, you trying to do music? Oh, this is what I did when I was here. Oh, you trying to do this is what I did when I was here. So I'm really trying to grow internally as a man of integrity so that my roots are deep enough. So when waves and stuff come, I can still be a source of provision for other people. I can still be, I don't want to be sacrilegious, but we're called to be little versions of God. So it's like I want people's relationship with me to give them more clarity on the fact that, oh, if Pace provides for me, God can provide me. If I have peace around Pace, there should be peace around God. If I have joy around Pace, there should be joy around God. Like I want to give a taste of all the things that God gives because I'm connected to him. That's what I'm trying to build towards.
Got you, man. That's awesome. That is incredible.
Thank you. Yeah.
Are you interested in entrepreneurship?
I mean, yeah. I think it's hard not to be. I think, when you're out here just investing in gifts have value.
Right.
And, my first major was marketing. So it's like, the wording is really weird, especially with church people, because they hate business for some reason. Yeah. But like really all money is a placeholder for value.
Right.
So if you consider something valuable, it's just a placeholder. It was, okay, you have 30 deer and I have 30 ducks. How do we transfer that? Oh, money. Let's just make something a course of value. So I'm not, when I say entrepreneurship, I'm not thinking about money. I'm thinking about value. Mm-hmm. So I really want to take all the gifts that God has given me and pour into other people. Like my quiet time where I'm on my face worshiping, I want to bring that to a stage and now y'all can experience it. Or when devotionals actually started with me, I was having worship and I just kept getting like leadership, like nuggets, like almost like I was ready to be on a podcast. And it's crazy that I didn't even go that route for devotionals, but what it opened the door to was I want to present God, market God simply, clearly, and practically. Growing up a church kid, you see all this stuff about God. You see like prophecies, all this revelation stuff, all these beasts and stuff. What does God mean for me now? Like I want little practical steps. Like I remember the first thing that actually tipped me off to make me want to write about stuff. I realized that Jesus' first sermon was the same thing John the Baptist said. And that's a great transition in leadership. And it just taught me as a leader.
I literally just did a talk on that the other day, bro. Yes.
You're tough. It gives you so much clarity. Like it's so much leadership advice. I was telling someone else, pastoral ministry and actually learning from Christ is, from an unbiased standpoint, the highest form of leadership. Because every other form of leadership, you can use coercive power, you can manipulate with money, you could fire somebody. But you're telling me that as Christians, we're called to push people to the same levels of production that a politician or a world government leader would do with no budget, with volunteers, and with no professional people. And based on the metrics of a book people would call a mythological fairy tale book from 3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. But we're called the same way a governor is called to change the world. I'm called to change the world. Mm-hmm. So I really think following Christ and saying what he did for free, he changed the world. We can take some leadership nuggets from that and really change things. I love seeing, I'm rambling, but I love seeing when secular leadership books bring points that have to do with the Bible. Like I was reading one thing, they were saying every group should only have about 10 to 12 trunks that they talk to. You should, as a CEO, you should never talk to more like 30 people. You should only have a board of like 12 people. And then those 12 people have their own teams. That sounds exactly like what Jesus did. He had 12 disciples. Then he told his disciples to go out and make disciples. And it's crazy that he told students to go make students, almost like they were a TA. So they were the students teaching. And that's what leadership is in a secular sense, in a biblical sense, just little things you can learn. So I love reading the Bible and noticing that type of stuff.
What would you say is like your biggest, you said, you know, your goal, like metaphorically, is to be like a tree. What would you say is your biggest challenge when it comes to actually executing and doing that?
I think, you know, one of the main ones, the safe answer would be staying connected to God. But I think the real answer is something that I have to get through is focusing on God and not people. I think one of the, you know, every gift is a weakness. So I have a gift for connecting with people emotionally, for kind of reading a room, for understanding people, for connecting to people. But the problem with that is I can over adjust to make sure I don't step on toes. And I think a lot of Christians, a lot of people in general, but Christians especially, are very close-minded. They're very like by the book that they haven't read. They're very like, this is how it goes. And if you go above this, you're a false teacher. So it's kind of hard for me, like even, you know, at Oakwood, like I had people asking me, why do you need a website? Why are you da 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 da? I had teachers talking about, and pastors out here marketing themselves, making websites. Like, how else was I going to put out devotionals? What was I going to call it? I was going to call it JesusJesus.com. Like, how are they going to get to it? But little things of getting through the negative perceptions. I even had one person's story I love telling. I got word that someone I've never met before, never interacted before, was using me by name to talk to the chair of the theology department to say that there needs to be a dress code because I was leading Theo majors astray based on how casual I dressed. That was something that was being said by name about me. So I could go one route of saying, okay, I'm never going to be on stage again, never da, 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 da. It actually started happening. I started singing OUC praise team, and then I preached for college days that Wednesday night for prayer meeting. So it's crazy that you start getting a lot more hate when you actually start doing things for God. I remember Dean Camille, the dean at West Oaks, was reminding me, the Bible says, blessed are those who are persecuted. And she was just reminding me, it's because you're blessed. You're doing what God has called you to do. And that it's a trophy is when people start saying bad things, because that means you're going against the grain. People don't guard you unless you're about to score. Like the devil wouldn't send defense unless you actually are a threat to the game. So I'm actually starting to try to shift my mindset of, you know, I want to be peaceful. I don't want to, you know, bother too many people. Don't want to make unnecessary battles, but I also don't want to lower myself, because when I speak about the love of Jesus, people who don't understand the love of Jesus are going to fight me. It's stuff like that where I'm trying to be, you know, on course.
Yeah.
And
what's the hardest part of like trying to do that? Like, like how do you actually go about doing that?
Bro, I think when I'm noticing so many things in life and spirituality is internal first. So it's like the more secure I am in who God has called me to be and what God is doing in me, the more secure I am when battles come. So like also a good community that reminds you of who you are. So I have friends that, like, you know, there's almost this idea, Adventists are really against prosperity gospel. They're really against mega churches. They're really against, you know, big things. So it's hard when I'm in a position where it's like, no, I think I can, like, I don't think it's bad to have a platform. I think, you know, Jesus had over 5,000 people following him on foot. It's not bad if 10,000 people watch an Instagram video. Like, I should be able to steward that platform. And it doesn't mean I've sold my soul to the devil. But having people around me to remind me that the fact that I'm questioning, okay, I want to make sure my motives are clear. I want to make sure, okay, I'm deleting Instagram when I post so I don't see the stats. I don't want to see the analytics. I have another friend who I tell to post for me, who I tell to do these things for me. And I'm not going viral. I'm not doing nothing. I just don't want to be caught up in that. And because I have that mindset of not wanting to be caught up, it reminds me that I haven't been caught up, that I haven't become what people are saying I am. People are like, oh, you're just for clout. Da, 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 da. I haven't even seen the video. So obviously I'm not for clout. So it's just having a community to help remind you and keep you centered. I answered two ways, but I guess those can be put together.
No, that's good. Both. And they're both practical too, which is awesome because it's just like, and I was just having this conversation earlier too. I was like, I did it on like Instagram chats or whatever.
Mm,
I didn't have Instagram on my phone. I had to like re-download Instagram,
yeah.
and they were like, "You don't have Instagram?" I'm like, "No." And it's weird because I'm in this tug and pull of like, okay, I'm a content creator,
Hmm.
but also I need to use the tool, not be the tool. So it's
Yes.
just like I'm finding this balance of like making sure I'm focused on what's important and not get because it's so easy. It's so
Hmm.
easy to get caught up in numbers or caught up in what's going to hit off, what's going to be
Hmm.
viral, what people want to hear, blah blah blah. And it's just like you got to remove yourself from those
You got to follow what
things
God's telling you to do
and
and not
follow
what the
what
stats are saying. Yeah.
exactly, man, exactly. So I think that's
Another
awesome.
thing, another thing that's crazy, I think in trusting people more and trusting community, it actually sets you up to not fall into those things.
Yeah,
Because I could be this person and say, okay, I want to do it all on my own, da 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 da. But what's crazy is if I was posting on your account, I wouldn't be tied to the stats. And if you were posting on mine, you wouldn't be tied to the stats.
right.
So it's crazy how much freedom we get when we have someone else do it for us. When we actually have a
Yeah,
team. Like it's little things of like just telling my friend, yo, log in and post this video I'm about to send you. I don't
yeah,
even want to see who's commenting. I don't want to
yeah,
see who's liking. I don't want to see who's sharing. But just that trust of the process of letting the person who's not going to get caught up do the dirty work so that we
yeah.
can continue to thrive. It's great, like in the Bible, like Paul and them were dictating. They weren't even writing these letters. We
Right.
can have
Yeah,
a
exactly.
team where it comes like I'll do a podcast with you and you post it. I'm not even gonna look at it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Hmm.
that type of thing.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's something I've been really fighting with lately because I realize I've made the investments in myself to intentionally ingrain myself in certain communities, and most of these have been, entrepreneurially related
Mm,
or spiritually related communities,
mm,
and I'm seeing the benefits of it in my life, and I'm like, man, this is crucial. And we are like living in this ultra connected society, but like
mm,
more separated than ever. And I'm like, okay, I know my circle is super important. How do I build this out? And it's been tough, even with me being in these spaces, because I'm usually the only person that's either my color or my age in the
mm.
room. And even though I'm able to relate with people, is
Wow.
fine. It's just like, yeah, but there's nobody else like me in here, really. Or it
Not
might be
supposed to
someone
be.
that's close,
Mm,
but they're on a different trajectory. And it's just like, all right, where, and this is kind of why I'm asking these questions, is because, like,
mm,
can there be a place where people are hungry to learn more about Jesus? People are hungry to build a life that they desire. People are hungry to continually grow and continually help other people in their process of growing. And I've been toying with that idea, and it's funny that you bring
mm.
it up because I've been like trying to figure that out for myself.
I got people for you, by the way. I have a friend who wanted to create like almost a retreat for Christian creatives.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I don't think the word she used was creatives. She said Christian people with ambition,
yeah,
ambitious Christians, because it's crazy. Like I've been noticing this wall of people believe that Jesus said, greater works you would do. We believe that he said, you are the light of the world. Now don't hide your light. Let your light shine, the light that I gave you. We believe that he said, okay, take your talents and multiply them. We believe all those things. But then when people
yeah.
start doing it, we start shooting it down. We start saying they're too ambitious. We start saying, oh, this has to be ulterior motive. How are you that's good at this? It's like, what's going on? But yeah, there's a friend. Y'all need to connect. She's actually in DC, but I'm gonna put y'all together. Yeah,
Yes.
y'all need to be
Yeah.
together.
That's the perfect description because I've been trying to put my finger on like what's the word, and I went down that route. I was like creator, visionary,
Dreamers.
ambitious, dreamer. Like it's all in there, but
Mm-hmm.
like focused on like God. Because like I unfortunately I've had to go outside of the church to find these types of people
Wow.
because unfortunately like people inside they're very fixed mindset. And it's almost
Mm-hmm.
like some type of doctrinal barrier where it's like, no, whatever is out on that other side, where it's like expansive, that's shifty sand. Don't go out there, type of thing. And it's like, No, like there's a lot to learn out here. As
No.
long as you're grounded, like there's a lot to learn.
And you're called to be a world changer. I was telling a friend what's crazy is there's a cycle in religious circles. We have a liberal minority who
Hmm.
steps out on what God is calling them to do. They create almost a new lane, and then everyone moves there, and now that becomes the conservatism.
Yeah.
Like think about it, like we
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah,
Martin
yeah.
Luther. He
Yeah,
fights the
yeah.
Catholic Church. Now everybody's Protestant. Okay,
Hmm.
now that's the base. Then we have what's it called? Billy Graham, who starts doing
Hmm.
televangelism, and people are like,
Hmm.
"Oh, he's the devil because he's mingling with sinners." And
Hmm.
now everybody is starting to do evangelism with real people. There
Hmm.
always has to be somebody who steps out, and then what's going to happen is, as people follow you, as you follow Christ, you're going to become the norm. And then
Right.
20 years later, there's going to be our grandkid who's going to come and be like, yo, why are people not teleporting to different countries to share the gospel? They're like, we shouldn't use teleportation. Jesus only walked. And it's going to be something like that. And then the norm will be teleportation. So it's like, I just want to encourage you, like, bro, like, you are going to be persecuted for being the leader.
Hmm.
The regular Israelites weren't persecuted. Moses was. The regular Israelites in the other part weren't persecuted. Jesus was. You're
Yeah.
actually called to be the different maker and be the
Yeah.
fish that swims away from the pack and creates new land, and now everybody follows you. It's like, keep going in that, bro. There's people for it.
Yeah,
And we're
man.
spread out for a reason, because if we are in one place, only one place will move.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. We just need to create a conference where we can all meet up.
Yes.
Oh man. This is good. When it comes to building your vision, building a life that you're proud of, becoming a tree, adulting, what are some things that keep you up at night that are roadblocks or challenges or nuisances?
Hmm. I think that tension, there's so many words that you can use of what is pulling the tension, but of being a coachable person. Naturally, I like hearing people's opinions. I listen. I'm a student. Like I want to know people's perspective, but
Hmm.
then not being tied to it. And then
Hmm.
on the other side of that, not being so cautious before I hear people's opinions that I don't move, and not running ahead and trying to offset the feeling I have of waiting for people. So
Right.
just really moving on God and not moving on the current around me. So like whether it's, like business, relationships, moving forward in what God is telling you to do, just timelines. Okay, God's telling me to do this. People are saying do it at this date. I was feeling like God was saying do it at this date. How do I balance that thing? So personally, like that's what's hardest for me now. It's like, okay, I have these things. How much preparation do I need? Like I
Yeah.
told you, I'm trying to put out a devotional book. I was just talking to my editor, like studying, researching how to self-publish a book. How much market research do I need? How
Hmm.
much time do I push? Because God told me a month,
Hmm.
but if I need more research than that, do I keep learning or do I go with what? It's just that faith thing of trusting what God is saying. Like when He says something that God always tells me to do, which is crazy, is whenever I have new projects, He tells me to stop asking people about it and says they'll come to you, which has happened for all these ministries I've done. But that's not what I should do to push a project forward.
Right.
That makes no sense. When I have a timeline, when I have something, I should be reaching out to the people I want. But whether it's me doing a praise team at a little church, whether it's me writing a book, the different people, God is always saying like, okay, I want you to just step with it. And I remember like with my editor now, she came up to me in a worship and said, yo, I want to help you. I feel like God's leading me to help. That was my answer. And now she's been my editor, been amazing for years. When I started a small group ministry at Oakwood, God was telling me the people who bring it up to you, ask them to be a part. Three great teammates came up to me and were like, "Yo, what are you doing with it this year? How are we moving forward?" I was like, I bet, let's go." So it's like that. I'm trying to trust God and not trust
Yeah.
logic, which is a hard balance.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Oh, that's so good. That is so good. Oh, yeah, we gotta have you back on the show, bro. There's not enough time right now.
Always.
Um, any last things that you think, when it comes to adulting, when it comes to building your vision, when it comes to doing what God has called you to do?
Say follow God, man. Like what's crazy, a story I've been reading recently. It's been popping up. The next, like, I guess the next month of devotionals, you're going to notice a common theme. But what I've been noticing in the book of Ezekiel, there's a field of dry bones. They're all dead. They're all broken. There's no life in them. They've been dead for years. It's not like they're corpses that we can resuscitate. No, they're done,
Hmm.
donezo. Like there's no life in them. God does one thing where he tells Ezekiel to speak life over the bones. And then in that we see, okay, I have to agree with what God is telling me to do and actually walk in it. Like Jesus said, when he called himself the light of the world, he was saying, me and my Father have to agree for something to be true. In your law, it says you need 2 witnesses. And a lot of times God is calling us to stuff, but if I don't believe it, it's not true. Because God said it, but I'm not walking in it. So it's not happening. So that's the first step. But the second step that really was toying with me was the fact that, okay, the bodies came together, tendons connected, everything came together. I'm sure they had chiseled features. They had all these situations. It looks good, but there was still no life until the Spirit came in it. There was organization, there was function. It looked good. It looked like it was running. Your business can look good. Your relationship can look good. Your situation, everything you're planning can look amazing. All the points can be in order. You can have all the equipment. You can have all the people, all the talent, all the resources, all the money, the whole budget out the wazoo. You can have everything. But if the body is there without the Spirit, it's still not alive. So no matter how hard you work, no matter how good your work ethic is, no matter how many days you get up at 4 a.m., go to the gym and all these things, no matter how good you're eating, no matter how well you're fueling yourself, how many books you're reading, how many mentors you have, if the Spirit of God isn't in you, you're still a dead body.
Oh,
you feel what I'm saying?
Preach that. No, if I had a shoe, I'd throw it at my screen right now with it, because this is insured. I don't know if this is insured. I'm not going to do that. But man, my.
It's about the Spirit. And what's also crazy about Ezekiel, the chapter 4, it says, I will pour out my Spirit. I will tenderize your hearts so that you will follow my laws and decrees. It's not just that we need the Spirit to create these systems. We need the Spirit to walk in these systems.
Yeah.
We need the Spirit to actually empower this thing. And I don't think we get that all the time.
No, like Psalm 37, the Lord orders the steps of the righteous. Like, he'll order them. He didn't say he'll take them for you. Come on, right? He'll lay it out, but you gotta walk. There's a two-way street on that, and that's a whole nother man. But yeah, that's a word, man. Thanks for hopping on,
bro. Thank you for having me. We need to have more conversations.
Dude, and this is why I want to build this community, because this stuff just gets me inspired. Like, I just got a whole nother burst of energy. Absolutely, bro.
I'm about to go to bed. I'm tired.
Hey, if you want to see what else Pace is up to, go to his website, pacefordham.com. That's PACEFORDHAM.com. You will not regret it. Trust me. Man, that conversation was so inspiring. I hope it inspired you the way it inspired me. Look, I'm going to be getting more information that I'm going to be sharing with you guys about the community. I want this online community, I want the first people in it to be the BYV, the Build Your Vision podcast family. Like, you guys are the inspiration behind this whole thing. And I'm going to be announcing some stuff shortly, so stay tuned. And look, as I always say, I'll talk to you next week. But until then, keep building your vision every single day. All right, peace, y'all. Executive production by Cleavon Davis. Music production by Cleavon Davis and Christian Hernandez. The Build Your Vision podcast is a product of Build Your Vision, LLC. Hey guys, Clee here. Thanks so much for listening to the Build Your Vision podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I would think you did if you stayed all the way to the end. The best thing that you could do to help support this show is by sharing it with somebody. By you just taking a few seconds to recommend this show to somebody, you are making a huge impact, not only on the success of this show, but possibly on that person's life.